Ooh, it's about that time again. You know what it is. Yeah! What's good, people? It's your boy, Coach Ace, with another episode of In the Classroom. That's right. And I'm continuing my advanced level episode series of In the Classroom. So, without further ado, let's get to the topic. Today's topic will be how to disguise formations before the snap of the ball. Now, the important thing about formational disguising is so that you can put players in position to gain leverage on a particular angle or to get offenses to slide protection in a disadvantageous way if your defensive coordinator trying to hide your formations. And on offense, if you're trying to hide your formations pre-snap, you're trying to get the defensive players in a bad angle, in a bad position, and you're trying to confuse them pre-snap before the play even starts. So this is all about strategy and strategic manipulation and essentially just pure deception before the play even starts. Because remember, with all sports, it comes down to the mind first. You gotta be in position. You have to be prepared and be ready to make plays. And like I said before, in any sport, but especially in football. And when you get them in a disadvantageous angle, or if you just get them uneasy, unsettled, and you make them question what they're looking at before the play even starts, you get them in a strategic and psychological disadvantage. But enough talking. Let's get to the play art. Now, for this, I have my defensive formation up first. But for this, it doesn't have to be a specific play because this is all about you understanding the concept of hiding your true formation that you have in mind before the snap of the ball. So I can pick any formation that tends to be disguised before the play even starts. So as of right now, we're in a prototypical nickel alignment with 3 corners, 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 2 safeties. So I'll make the disguised formation a zero formation. And I'll explain what zero means. A zero formation is essentially when there's no safeties deep. So basically all the safeties would be towards the box, towards the line of scrimmage. So I'll draw that out for you right now. Let's say I was running a zero safety blitz. Zero safety man blitz. Yeah, I like that play, so I'll draw it. So, with a zero safety man blitz, safety will walk towards the line of scrimmage on the 9 gap. And remember, let me bring out the chart for you. Remember, the 9 gap is towards the edge. You see with this chart? You see that they're towards the edge. Always remember that 9 gap is far of the edge of the offensive line alignment. So walk them towards the 9 gap. And then I'll have defensive ends pressuring the 7 gap. I'll have the defensive tackle pressuring the 4 gap. Both defensive tackles pressuring the 4 gap. The other defensive end pressuring 7 gap. And my linebackers and corners will be playing man coverage. thing about zero coverage is it leaves the center of the field vacated. But that's the whole point of having athletic defenders that could play man coverage, so that you could be aggressive and attack. Now, remember, this all comes down to disguising your scheme and disguising your formation before the snap of the ball. So if you start off making it look like a prototypical nickel formation and then you walk them down, what's going to end up happening is either the quarterback may cause and may be forced to do an audible, or they may get uncomfortable in the situation, call a timeout, or they may just run the play and they may be apprehensive to what they may be dealing with the 6 pressurers coming at them at once with the man coverage on the outside. Now, understand something. When you're disguising formations pre-snap, you want to start off making it look like it's normal so that you get them normalized. You get them feeling a certain way about a certain coverage or a certain formation, a certain look that you're giving them in a particular game. And then once you change it up within the game, they feel, like I said before, apprehensive, and they feel a little bit more nervous about the play call that they may be dealing with on the opposite side of the ball. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not only just a game of putting your players in a position to be able to be aggressive or be able to get players in a disadvantageous situation. It's also about the psychology of the disguise. You're making them feel uneasy, a little unnerved, because you're switching your formations, you're changing things, and they may not have seen it on tape if it's something that you're just implementing recently, or they may not exactly be prepared to handle it because they didn't expect it. They didn't expect you to run it in this particular situation. So you got to remember, it's not just the disguise of it, and it's not just the schematics of the disguise, it's how it affects the mind of the player. Sometimes coaches and coordinators are just trying to get into the heads of the players that they're going against, if they think they can make them feel uncomfortable in certain scenarios, situations, or certain schemes that they could use that they've never seen before. Remember that mind game is definitely a part of football. There's no question. It's a part of it. Now, I showed you an example of zero formation. What other example do I have for you? Well, you know what? I said both offensive and defensive adjustments and formations. So you know what? We'll switch to offense. I have plenty more defense that I could show you, but for this example, let's switch to offense so I can get that out the way. So, okay, on this side, we just have a little bunch formation where we have 2 wide receivers on the edge, 2 tight ends. Next to the offensive line, you have the quarterback in a pistol with the running back in the backfield. Now, with this formation, I'm going to make it so that the offense spreads out. I'll draw that so that the wide receiver walks right here. We'll come right here. The other tight end. And then this wide receiver will go here. Now, what that does is it puts the defense in a more stressful situation because now they have to spread out. They have to think about where they're going to put their players in this particular situation. They have to make sure that they have enough room and have enough space and have the angular leverage to be able to not only defend short passes but also long passes. And overall, it makes the defense have to consider whether they're going to change their play, whether they're going to just adjust, or whether they may have to call a timeout because they're not exactly sure whether they're prepared in this particular situation. So what it ends up doing is it just makes things a little bit more stressful, and it makes you have to think a little bit more before the snap of the ball. And once again, like I said before, it just comes down to sometimes you implement mind games while you're within the game itself. Now, let's just say I do a random play. Tight end runs a corner. Wide receiver runs a go. The other tight end runs quick hook. And the other wide receiver just runs a quick corner. Now, let's assume that the defense does not call a timeout and they just allow the offense to run the play. Well, if that's the case, let's say they call an incorrect audible. If they call an incorrect audible or an audible that's not built for defending a deep pass, then these two routes right here, this double combo around these two route combo on this side. Hold on. Might get them, and that's exactly why I drew it out after I adjusted the formation, because this two route combo is built to take advantage of this part of the field. So it's either this corner will be open towards this side as a result of the go route taking away this spot. See, the go route will force the safety. Let's say if it's a free safety, will force the safety to lurk over towards this spot. So they're going to take away this, but that would leave this spot to throw to, right here. So you see, that's why I call this the two combo route scenario, running the fly route so that this area can open up for the pass. And this route will be going towards that area. So you see? And in that particular situation, the defense would most likely not even be prepared for a route in that type of situation unless one of their defensive leaders calls an audible to like a cover two or something. But typically, if you don't have a leader on defense, or if you don't have players that are situationally adept and prepared to make adjustments or quick adjustments, then you can actually confuse, confide, and take advantage of the lack of situational awareness for those players. And that is exactly why teams decide to make adjustments pre-snap. They don't do it consistently, but they do it in maybe in a key scenario, key situation like 3rd and 10 or something like that, or where they need a conversion just to build momentum for a particular game. And so, trust me, it's a game within a game. It's a tactic within a tactic. And at times, it's useful in order to get defenders or get offensive players feeling uncomfortable about what they may be going against, because it just may put them in a bad situation that they're not prepared for. I'll show it again. And there you have it. purpose and the ideals of formational adjustments pre-snap. Psycho schematics. And I still got more episodes for you for the advanced level topics. So, stay tuned and prepare to be immensely knowledgeable of the game of American football. I'm out.